Started taking HRT about 1 year ago, give or take a month. When I started, I had already had the actual testosterone with me for quite some time. My parents weren't really the most supportive, especially my mother. She kept telling me, there's gotta be some other way, or that since I had passed well enough that I didn't really need that. At first, they ignored it. My mother, especially. My dad and I don't talk about serious things a lot, so I don't know if he ignored it so much as he just did, not talk about it. My mother, on the other hand, she knew. She wouldn't, she wasn't the kind of person to force me to, dress all feminine, because it's kind of a lost cause. I mean, I've been dressing this way, I've been acting the way I have since the dawn of time. My coming out did not change any of my behavior. My dad, at first, now that I come to think about it, I guess that was him trying to be supportive. There were a couple of times he had outed me to random strangers. Well, to me, they were strangers. They were like acquaintances of his, and some of them might have been clients of mine. He was trying to get me work as well as a freelance artist or graphic artist doing whatever. And he had sort of outed me to my potential clients before I had even met them. I was really mad at him for some time for those things. When I met these people, that became a topic of our conversation. Oh my goodness, I've never met one of you before, or, you actually really do look like a guy. Things like that. I got into a bit of a fight with him because of that, but we do fight relatively often. Me and my dad, we either get along really fantastically or really terribly. I used to say that if he had been an uncle that maybe I didn't see so often, he would be my favorite uncle ever. I see a lot of what I don't like about myself in him. My short temper, my judgmentalness of other people, our argumentative nature, how we always want to be right, or we don't quite know how to say we're wrong. I'd like to think I got past that. I'd like to think I'm getting better at those things, that, I can now say sorry, I can now say I was wrong, and somehow I see that, in some capacity he's learning as well. Maybe not as quickly as I would like, but, he's lived longer than I have, so these are older habits to him than they are mine. My mother had told me that she wanted to be the one to tell our extended family, her mother, my grandmother, and my aunts, because my mother is really close to her mom, my grandma. They're a conservative Catholic bunch, and me, atheist, LGBT, whatever me, who has the tattoos and the weird colored hair, I am sort of the opposite of conservative. My mother wanted to be the one to tell them. She had told my grandmother, she said, obviously they know, I tell them everything. Obviously the family knows. To be honest, I haven't seen anything that would indicate they know. I assume surely they must have noticed the voice, the growing beard, or whatever, the changes. But for the most part, they don't say anything about it. I have a young cousin who I've actually been been hanging out with, been taking care of, not completely in the sense, but looking out for, ever since they were born. He asked my niece, is Dee a boy or a girl? And my niece, being the darling that she is, told them, he's a boy. Of course she would say that, as she had once bet against one of the grown-ups at our house about whether or not I was. And of course, how happy she was when she asked me, are you a boy or a girl? And I told her, what do you think? She told me, I think you're a boy, so matter-of-factly. And when I told her, yes, alright, because you say so, the moment I said that, she looked happy and ran up to whoever it was that she had made the bet with and went, "I told you so," in the most adorable little face that you can imagine a 7-year-old could do. My younger cousins, they think of me as a guy. So my aunt, though I say aunt, she's actually my grandmother's sister, so essentially like my grandmother as well. She would tell this little cousin of mine to call me ate. Ate means big sister, literally, in Tagalog. And so she would tell him to call me that. And he would just sort of look at her confusedly because, no, he's a boy. She didn't know what to do with him. She jokingly went up to my mom saying, "What are we gonna do about Paulo? He keeps insisting, no matter how much I tell him, he keeps insisting that I'm a boy." And my mother shrugged in her non-confrontational way and went, just let it be. That's about the extent my mother deals with the misgendering. I asked her, "Are you sure you told them?" And she just shrugged and went, "Yeah, maybe they don't remember or they don't believe it or they don't understand, but I did tell them." So I didn't force the issue. I didn't, demand that she explain it to them again. But I feel like sometimes I should, because I say, do you want me to explain it? It is about me after all. It's just like, no. I'll do it if ever. She never really does, so I don't know what to do about that. I'm not quite sure how much my father's side of the family knows. My niece's mother, my cousin, she knows. She was one of the first ones to know in the family, because she had asked me why was that my name on Facebook and why did it say I was male. And I had to explain it to her, and she doesn't really get it, but she respects it enough. And then there's my brother. We might not have the best relationship, and it's partially my fault because, admittedly, I was a bit of a terrible older sibling to him. 12 to 14, around that age, I was the worst, and he hasn't forgotten. But yeah, because of that, we sort of grew up having a weird relationship. If we get along, we get along great. If we can be on the same side, we are a force to be reckoned with, but that doesn't happen very often. He's known. He understood it far better than my parents did at first, even. He's never misgendered me, like, pronouns-wise, but he calls me by my birth name. I guess he hasn't really been trying, for lack of a better word, but I have now sort of given him the incentive to call me by my new name. And we'll see how that works out, but I guess he would call it being supportive in his own way, and that he doesn't care. It hasn't really changed anything to him. I mean, I've always been the obnoxious older sibling who can, push him around sometimes, or get pushed around depending on the situation. But our relationship hasn't really changed since coming out. I realize I'm really lucky to have my family. I realize that not many people can say the same thing, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that, they haven't thrown me out, well, even if not for this, for all the other shit I've done, but I'm thankful that they're trying. I know not many people can say they have that, and for that, I love them for it. At first, I thought they could be trying harder, they should be trying harder, I want them to be trying harder, but it takes time. Some people might say this is the bare minimum, but, to me, the fact that they're even going this far when they feel they might have been taught they don't have to, that's amazing to me. That's my family, and I love them.